Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you have your card. It's your passport to having your question answered or asked for sure. If we don't get to all the questions, by the way, we are going to submit all of the questions to the candidates and we'll post it on our website. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate number 9, John Norton.
Thanks, Brian. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd rather not talk about me today, or I, and what I am going to do all by myself if I'm elected mayor. What I would like to talk about is us, we. I'm often asked when I'm campaigning, John, what are you going to do for me? What I'd really like to do is inspire Calgarians to think about what's in it for us if we work together. What could we do here in Calgary, with the city with one of the most educated populations on the planet? What could we do with people from over 150 countries? Our greatest resource is our people. In a global economy, people from 150 plus countries. And all the natural resources and still a lot of financial strength. I think we can show leadership on earth to other municipalities in other countries, let alone Canada. That's what I'd like to inspire Calgarians to think about. Rise above what's in it for you or what's in it for me. What can we do working together? I'm going to talk a little bit about my background and why I'm so very different than all the other candidates running for mayor here. Because I am very different. I'm not going to start off by talking about me. I'm going to talk about a problem that's important to you. Because my slogan is people first, the citizens of Calgary first. And I'm going to give you an example of that. An important issue to us, to all Calgarians, is the issue of the airport tunnel. The argument's been around for many years. We talked about it, getting LRT to the airport when I was on council. And you've all heard that the tunnel might cost somewhere between $50 and $500 million. And everyone has their methods to calculate that, but if we don't do it now, you've all heard it's going to cost upwards of $1 billion. So I waited and I listened and I said, how come nobody ever asked for the impact study to quantify how much it's actually going to cost the citizens of Calgary if we do not do this? We know it's going to cost the bank account of Calgary, the corporation of Calgary, $1 billion to build the tunnel. What's it going to cost the citizens, a whole quadrant of the city stuck for an extra 15 minutes to half an hour at least a day? What's the lost productivity to them? What's the lost opportunity cost to the economy of Calgary as a whole of having that many people stuck that much longer in traffic? And what could have been achieved if we just built a tunnel? My study of this, I did a quick study, and it comes to over $2 billion impact to the citizens of Calgary. So add that to the cost of the tunnel of $1 billion. Now we're talking a $3 billion decision if it's delayed versus a $50 to maybe $500 million decision. It becomes a no-brainer. I asked, why didn't anybody ask this question, ask for this study in the past how many years? That's just one example of why I'm very different. I ask the questions that no one else asks. I think about the things that nobody else seems to think about. The impact of tens of thousands of businesses and hundreds of thousands of people didn't come first in all of this talk. So I guess I just see things that others don't. I'm an innovator, and I can recognize good innovative ideas. And in that regard, for anyone interested, on my website we have learned the issues where we've come up with one of the best political tools. Well, there just isn't anything like it anywhere. It's been invented. In about 15 minutes flat, you can go through advanced memory techniques on the website, smartcalgaryvoters.com, which you access off my website. You can learn all about the important issues to you in this election coming up. So I would urge you to go there. That's another example of the innovation that I would bring to the city of Calgary. We've heard about these opportunities. Well, you kind of have to have a track record to back that up. If you talk about what we're going to do, you have to be an entrepreneur and be able to point to the track record of having not just fixed the problems, but spot the opportunities. So I think that what we need in Calgary, my belief, is we need vision, leadership, and integrity to fix our problems and also to be able to spot and capitalize on our opportunities. It starts with a Triple E City Hall. Efficient, effective, and ethical. We need a city hall that helps us achieve our opportunities and thinks of the people first. Now, we all know that during campaigns, talk is cheap. Ideas are a dime a dozen. What I think you need to look for is the proof of that vision, leadership, and integrity with track record.
Candidate Paul Hughes, please.
This is a great opening line there. I'll move back to reality. My name is Paul Hughes. Thanks to everybody for coming out today. I feel very privileged to sit up with these gentlemen, some extremely talented individuals here. I feel like I'm an embedded citizen, so I'm looking at them and listening to them just as much as you are. I started my life in Vancouver, BC. My parents moved around, lived in a lot of northern communities, grew up in all 4 western provinces, and at the time, the 2 territories that we had. I went to my first council meeting when I was 13, and I started coaching hockey when I was 13. And at 16, I ran a marathon, trained for 6 months in northern Manitoba, a little town called Leaf Rapids. Started in January. If anybody knows northern Manitoba, it's pretty cold. So I showed some discipline, ran a marathon. When I was finished school, I joined the PPCLI, joined the Canadian Army. And after the Canadian Army, I attended the University of Calgary, and I started a production company in music. I started a record label called Metanoia. If anybody's heard about Peter Senge, I use that word out of his book on Fifth Discipline, which is a shift of mind. This is in the early 90s. Did a music festival called Highwood, booked bands like Beth Naked, Green Day, Dead Milkmen. After that, I went on to start hockey school. Worked with Jerome Ginla and Chris Pronger out in Canmore. I've coached hockey the entire time. I've probably coached some 2,500 different athletes. And after that, I started working in Canadian North and traveling in Canadian North. So I actually swam in all of our coast to coast to coast. I've swum in all 3 of our oceans. I've traveled my country extensively. And my dad instilled in me the proud individual he is for our country. He instilled in me a pride in my country that I think that a lot of us feel. And then within that place, within the context, I also my son Mackenzie is 8. I delivered him in Slocan Valley in a little cabin, about 100 kilometers from the closest hospital. So that's a little bit about my background. I think that Calgary is the basis for an oasis. I think that we're all kind of looking at what's going on in Calgary. We're waiting for something to happen. And okay, what are we going to do? This is a great place. We've got a really nice location here. There's a river. Seems looking pretty good. What are we going to do? And I think sometimes that's where we fall short with that vision. And I am hearing today from these other gentlemen that there is a vision. That these people take a lot of time to consider where we're going as a city. I started something called Drilling for Soil. Just put an S in front of the well. I think that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity feeding our citizens. I also believe that through my work with the Food Policy Council and research that I've done with food, that if we can connect 111,000 empty acres of land, which is an asset for an organization, if we can connect that land base to the 140,000 people that are living at or near poverty, I think we can create an opportunity for job creation and more nutritious foods within our system. And yes, certainly a lot of people think that I'm a one-issue person, but I've only had chickens in my backyard for the last year and a half. So, I'm not just a chicken guy. I serve my country, I coach in hockey, high performance, I've done a lot of different things. So if we can put aside the one issue part of it, that'd be great. Diverting resources from the landfill. We have to start looking at our garbage as a resource. We should basically outlaw the word garbage and start to make that fundamental shift at metanoia. Placemaking in the city is incredibly important. I don't have much time left here. You know, I'm feeding myself. I'm growing on my own property. So we want to talk about sustainability. We want to talk about campaign donations. Let's get real. Let's get real. I'm feeding myself with the food that I grow with the eggs from the chickens. I am not asking for any campaign donations, so I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't owe anybody anything. So if you want to look at who's going to be going into the position of mayor, I'm not saying none of these gentlemen can be bought for $5,000 or any of the women involved in this race. None of these people can be bought for that amount of money. I don't think that we have corruption at that type of level. But if we really want to see who's doing what they say they're going to do, I'm doing that right now. And I think that's where the proof is in the pudding. I think that that's where, as Calgarians, I look at Marlon Perkins, if anybody's heard of him, an obscure reference to the Mutual of Omaha. Do you know how he got some of that great footage? Do you know how he got some of that great footage? You got some of that great footage. Just look at the Fifth Estate. Thank you for the moment. Look at the Fifth Estate documentary and look at how he got that footage. It's really, really interesting.